Assalamualaikum to our most respected lecturer. This is our team video presentation for assignment 2 for subject Urban Design Theory. For this assignment, we choose Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia as our case study. To start with, I'm Hafizah binti Petty, so I will talking about the introduction for the Kuala Lumpur first. For Kuala Lumpur is the capital of Malaysia. Its modern skyline is dominated by the 451-meter tall Petronas Twin Towers, which is a pair of glass and steel-clad skyscraper with Islamic motif. This city populated around 1.9 million people that include ethnicity of Bumiputra, Chinese, Indians, and others. This also include the various age group of working, children, and the elder. So the Kuala Lumpur city has a total area of 243 kilometers. So that's all for the introduction of Kuala Lumpur. Then I will start to talk about the morphological dimension. I'll be talking about the first dimension for this assignment, which is the morphological dimension. In the city of Kuala Lumpur, there are three types of urban form and layout, which is the first one is the traditional fabric, which have a continuous short frontage that also known as kaki lima. That is multifunctional. This narrow and deep plot pattern produce high density with low rise urban grain. This kaki lima also help to increase permeability through the area. For example, we can see at the area of Chinatown, Pudu, and Jalan Tuanku Abdul Rahman, or locally known as Jalan Tar. And the second one is the modernist fabric. This fabric has skyscraper and tall buildings act as isolated architectural object with deep setback, massive podium containing shopping malls and integrated public space. To illustrate is the Golden Triangle area that consists of Kuala Lumpur City Centre, or short for KLCC, Tun Razak Exchange, or locally known as JRX, and Merdeka 118. So the next one is I will talking about the urban pattern for Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur exhibit a regular pattern with polycentric behavior that start from its historical is the River of Life, which is the meeting point of Klang River and Gombak River. Then the urban development starts into the conurbanization that known as Klang Valley. Then I will talking about the street network and rail network at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So the first one is the street network. Kuala Lumpur has a radial pattern that radiates outward, started with several ring roads within the city centre before connected with major highway. The ring road consists of inner ring, middle ring road 1, and middle ring road 2. As you can see at the map, is the purple line is the inner ring, consists of Jalan Tun Razak, Jalan Lokyu, and Jalan Maharaja Lela that surround the central business district. And the red line we can see in the map is the middle ring road 1 that consists of area of KLCC, Bukit Bintang, and Tun Razak Exchange. And thirdly is the blue line, which is the middle ring road that covering more larger nearby area before connecting the major highway. There are several major highway located near the Kuala Lumpur, which is the Federal Highway that connecting Kuala Lumpur with Petaling Jaya, Subang Jaya, Shah Alam, and Klang. The second one is the Smart Tunnel, that is short for Stormwater Management and Road Tunnel. Highway is the Duke Highway, connecting city centre with nearby suburbs and outer townships. So I'll be talking about the rail network in Kuala Lumpur. Generally, there are two types, which is the Kereta Api Tanah Melayu Berhad, or short for KTNB, and then the Rapid KL that cover Klang Valley area. So for the last part of morphological dimension, I will talking about the block size and building topologies in Kuala Lumpur. So the first one is the block size. In Kuala Lumpur, there are various block size due to different identity and development. So the first one is the Heritage Core, an area of Jalan 2 HSD, Petaling Street, and Brickfields. The block size are small to medium, as it reflects traditional colonial and immigrant merchant layouts. There are several images that we can see. For so the first one is the Jalan Tun HSC that have the colonial feature, and then the Petaling Street has a bit of integration of Chinese, and the last one is the Brickfields, which is most commonly as the Little India. So the last one is the building typologies. Kuala Lumpur shows a shift of colonial style to hyper-modern style. However, this shift happened as distinct and overlap with one another architectural style. However, this building also show its suitability with whether corporate or social life of the local. So to start with the time frame of 80 to 1890s, the most common building typology is the shop house that heavily dense in the area of Chinatown and Jalan Tar. This typology influenced by Chinese immigrant and adjusted to tropical climate, in which it have narrow, deep and contiguous, featuring kaki lima, mix of Chinese woodwork, European pillar, and colorful peranakan tiles. So that's all for morphological dimension. I will pass to perceptual dimension that will present by Izul.
Good morning. My name is Yusuf Yusuf. So today I will be presenting my board is perceptual dimension. So first, let us look at the visual quality. So the Kuala Lumpur, especially the KLCC area, has a high visual quality because of its iconic skyline, modern architecture, and well-maintained public space. The Petronas Twin Towers serve as the main visual landmark of the city and create a strong urban image. So, in addition, KLCC adds greenery and open space, making the environment more attractive and enjoyable for visitors. So, these features contribute to a memorable visual experience and enhance the overall image of the Kuala Lumpur. So the next is sense of the place. So the KLCC area has a strong identity because it is home to the Petronas Twin Towers, which is symbolized both Kuala Lumpur and Malaysia. So the combination of modern buildings, commercial activities, and recreational space creates a unique character that distinguish this area from other parts of the city. As a result, both local and tourists can easily recognize and connect with the place. And then the third aspect is legibility. So legibility refers to how easily people can understand and navigate a city. In Kuala Lumpur, areas such as Bukit Bintang and Chinatown have a clear and distinctive identities. And then Bukit Bintang is well known as a commercial and entertainment district, while Chinatown is famous for its cultural heritage, street markets, and food attraction. So this distinct characteristic help visitors to identify different parts of the city and navigate more effectively. So we move on to the activity and atmospheres. So Kuala Lumpur offers a vibrant urban life throughout the day and night. So during the day, Chinatown is filled with the shoppers, street vendors, and tourists, creating a lively and active environment. And then at the night, Jalan Alo becomes one of the city's most popular food destination that attracting a large crowd with its variety of street food and energetic atmospheres. So these activities contribute to the city dynamic and vibrant character. And then finally, safety and comfort play an important role in the urban experience. So facilities such as a zebra crossing, traffic light, and street lighting improve the pedestrian safety and convenience. And then good lighting also increase the visibility and night and creates a safer and more comfortable environment for resident and visitor. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Asna Adina. For this section, I will explain how Kuala Lumpur urban design encourages social interaction through cultural and physical inclusivity. First, we can see this in areas like Bukit Bintang, Chinatown, Kwai Chai Hog, Five Footways, and Little India. Bukit Bintang Crossing creates a people-friendly environment by prioritizing pedestrian over vehicles. The wide crossing allows people to walk safely, gather, and interact with local tourists and street performers. In Chinatown and Kwai Chai Hong, the restoration of heritage streets, mural, and traditional elements transform the area into a social space where people explore, take photos, and support local businesses. The traditional five-footways also play an important role. It protects pedestrians from heat and rain while creating opportunity for people to walk, shop, and communicate at street level. Meanwhile, Little Indian in Brickfield shows cultural inclusivity by preserving Tamil heritage, local businesses, and cultural celebrations. These spaces allow different communities to feel represented and connected. KL also focus on physical inclusivity through accessible walkways, public transport, tactile paving, ramp, and covered pedestrian routes that support different users. Moving on, Kuala Lumpur also provides many public spaces that bring people together. Dataran Mereka acts as a civic gathering space where people from different backgrounds can join events, celebration, and daily activities. Its open and accessible design make it a space for everyone. Pasar malam or night markets transform street into lively social spaces. People from different ages and backgrounds interact through shopping, eating, and experiencing local culture. Central Market functions as a cultural hub where local tourists, artists, and families gather. It promotes cultural exchange through art, performance, and local products. The River of Life waterfront show how urban renewal can transform a river area into a public spaces with walkways, seating areas, and a place for people to relax. Lastly, KLCC Park creates a social interaction by combining greenery, recreation, and gathering spaces. It attracts joggers, families, office workers, and tourists, allowing different groups to share the same environment. Overall, Kuala Lumpur design showed that successful urban spaces are not only about building, but about creating places where people can connect. Thank you for thank you for me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Fatin Fariza binti Abdul Aziz, and I will present for the visual dimension. The visual dimension refers to how the physical appearance of a city, including its buildings, landscapes, signage, public art, and public spaces, creates a visually pleasing environment. First, we look at the building. The Kuala Lumpur features a combination of modern skyscrapers, commercial buildings, and heritage architecture that creates an attractive and distinctive urban skyline. This diversity provides visual variety, while the planned arrangement of development creates harmony within the city. One of the most iconic landmarks is the Petronas Twin Towers. It serves as a focal point because of the symmetrical twin structure and the facade inspired by Islamic geometric pattern. The unique design makes them visible from many parts of the city and help people orient themselves. Next is Merdeka 118. It's contemporary design and also one of the tallest buildings. It adds a modern variety that symbolizes Malaysia's economic growth and modern aspirations. In contrast, the Sultan Abdul Samad building represents Kuala Lumpur's historical and cultural heritage. The Murist architectural style creates visual contrast with the surrounding modern skyscrapers. For the next one is landscape and focal points. One example is KLCC Park. The combination of greenery, water elements, and the backdrop of the Petronas Twin Towers creates a memorable focal point and contributes to Kuala Lumpur's image as a livable and aesthetically pleasing city. Another example is the Perdana Botanical Gardens. The diversity of vegetation introduced changes in color, texture, and from creating visual variety throughout the year. Scenic viewpoints and lakes are also serve as focal points that encourage people to appreciate nature. Lastly is the TRX City Park. Green lawns, water features, and shaded pedestrian spaces provide visual relief from surrounding office tower. The park's modern landscape design creates harmony between nature and built elements while also functioning as an attractive gathering place for the public. Moving on to the signage and wayfinding, signage contributes not only to functionality but also to the visual appearance of urban spaces by helping users navigate efficiently. Consistent design elements creates harmony, while different forms of signage introduce variety. For example, Bukit Bintang is well known for its vibrant commercial signage, illuminated digital screens, and branded storefronts. Similarly to Tun Raza Exchange, TRX incorporates modern and minimalist signage that reflects the image of a contemporary financial center. The cohesive design creates harmony throughout the district, while different forms of digital and static signage improve accessibility and wayfinding. The district entrance signs also act as focal points that leave a strong first impression on visitors. Next, we have public art and cultural features. Public art enriches the urban environment by introducing cultural, artistic, and historical elements into public space. The National Art Gallery contributes to Kuala Lumpur's visual environment through sculptures, artistic installation, and cultural exhibition spaces. Another example is Kwai Chai Hong, which features heritage-themed murals and interactive artworks that portray scenes from Kuala Lumpur's past. The use of colors, texture, and storytelling creates visual variety, while the murals complement the surrounding heritage shophouse, creating harmony between contemporary artistic expression and historical architecture. These interactive murals also serve as focal points that attract tourists and encourage social interaction. Lastly, urban streetscape and public spaces. Streetscape combine pedestrian facilities, lighting, paving, and street furniture to create attractive and functional public environments. Coordinated design elements contribute to harmony, while different activities and materials introduce variety. Merdeka Square is one of Kuala Lumpur's most symbolic public spaces. The large open lawn and surrounding historical buildings create visual harmony by balancing the density of the urban environment. The contrast between green open space and heritage architecture introduces variety and enhances visitors' experiences. The square also serves as a focal point for public gatherings, cultural events, and national celebrations. Another example is Jalan Alor, which presents a vibrant of cityscape with outdoor dining areas, colorful signage, and active pedestrian movement. The combination of food stalls, commercial frontage, and social interaction creates visual variety and makes the street lively and engaging, where during the evening, illuminated signboards and active public spaces become strong focal points that attract both local and international visitors.
My name is Narkausaka Sarah binti Muhammad Nordin, and I will explain about the functional dimensions. Functional dimensions that are involved in the Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia is through the transportations system, public spaces, infrastructure, and also the land use. Kuala Lumpur has developed into a modern city where mobility and accessibility play important roles in the supporting daily activities. For movement and circulations, Kuala Lumpur has a well-connected transportation network. The city is supported by a rapid KL bus, LRT, MRT, and also monorail system that's improved mobility for residents and visitors.
although pedestrian movement is concentrated around commercial and the transit hub. Some areas still face a challenge such as discontinued walkways and also car-oriented street layouts. Okay, next is the successful public places. The first example is a central market, Pasar Seni. It is provides a comfort through good accessibility and pedestrian-friendly surrounding. Visitors can relax while enjoying local food, heritage, architecture, and also the art galleries. The market also encourage passive engagement through historical appreciations and active engagement through cultural performance and also handcraft activities. Visitors can discover Malaysian culture and the local product. The second example is a Pavilion Kuala Lumpur. It is offer a comfortable and climate controlled environment with a complete facilities. Visitors can relax in the dining and resting area. Features such as a crystal fountain and digital wayfinding kiosk creates a both passive and active engagement. The shopping mall also promotes discovery through various brand, product and also cultural events. The next is vitality, mix and continuous use. Mixed-use development is also characterized as a way to rejuvenate communities by creating spaces where can cross-sections of the community gathers to work, live and play. In effect, the benefits is a mixed-use development extend much more beyond just enhancing the social goods. The example of the mixed-use development is KL Central. KL Central is also the largest transit-oriented development in the Kuala Lumpur that houses the main railway stations of Kuala Lumpur, international corporate office, hotels and also residential development on the 71.6-acre lands of Brickfield, Kuala Lumpur. For density, Kuala Lumpur has a population of over 2 million people. The city height density is influenced by economic opportunities, government functions, and also extensive public transportation network such as MRT, LRT, and also monorail system. Next is a microclimate. Rapid urbanization has contributed to the urban heat island effect. High-rise districts such as Bukit Bintang and Pudu experience higher temperature, reduced ventilations, and the trap heat, creating environmental challenge. Public open space in the Kuala Lumpur is KLCC Park. That demonstrate the concept of the capital web by providing an important public open spaces that connects people with the nature while supporting recreational and social interaction in the city centre. Another open space in the Kuala Lumpur is Titiwangsa Lake Gardens, or it called as a Taman Tasik Titiwangsa. It is a attractive and well-maintained park in the Kuala Lumpur with a wide range of facilities and things to do for the whole family. Next is Dataran Merdeka. Dataran Merdeka is the one of the most important historical landmark in the Kuala Lumpur. In dataran mereka formerly known as a Padang Kelab Selangor that located in the old administrative centre of the Kuala Lumpur. Next, for the road design, Kuala Lumpur road network connects major commercial, residential and historical areas. Highways and elevated roads improve connectivity and provides efficient access to important destinations such as the Golden Triangle and the Petronas Twin Towers. For the footpath design, Kuala Lumpur combined traditional walkways known as a kaki lima with a modern pedestrian facilities. However, several issues still exist, including uneven pavement obstructions, poor connectivity, and vehicle encroachments, which affect pedestrian comfort and safety. And then lastly is the infrastructure. Infrastructure in the urban Kuala Lumpur is well developed in the term of roads network and the public transit with the MRT, LRT and monorail system providing broad coverage across the city. However, supporting infrastructure such as drainage, utilities and public facilities such as park and museum.
Thank you, Kausa, for explaining functional dimension. So the last one is the temporal dimension. So I will start with the time cycles. The repetitive and 24 hours pattern of day and night throughout the city of Kuala Lumpur. So during daytime, the weather and temperature really influence people's lifestyle generally. Sometimes there are intense heat caused by the urban heat island, while at some times there are sudden monsoon downpours that also influence the space function throughout the city. So at the night time, as the sun sets and temperature start to drop, there are massive atmospheric and functional transition happen throughout the city, which there are areas that being used in the day are completely revitalized at night. So which is the march of time. That talking about the process of KL expand physically through the decades in rapid and disruptive bursts. So the first one is the continuity, preserving the living social fabric of the communities that inhabit them. Simply saying, if this area destroyed, the community also being destroyed, such as we can see in Kampong Baru, Malay House sitting directly in the shadow of Petronas Twin Towers. It has resisted redevelopment due to complex land ownership and cultural pride. So the next one is destruction, the act of wiping the state or area clean to make space for high density modern development in search for the beneficial of local community. However, this old structure view as underutilized space rather than heritage. So that's all for temporal dimension and all of our dimension for this Kuala Lumpur City. After this, Kausa will be back for explaining about the conclusion for this Kuala Lumpur.
In conclusions, our group believe that the functional dimension is the most successful educates in the Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This city demonstrates efficient urban functionality through public transport such as MRT, LRT, monorail, and also the bus. In Kuala Lumpur, road system provide a strong connectivity between areas. Kuala Lumpur also offers a well-balanced mixed land use such as residential, commercial, institutional, and also recreational. Center of the Kuala Lumpur is a KLCC, Bukit Bintang, and also TRX are supports economic activities while remaining accessibility for visitors and residents. That's all from us.